Hello everyone and welcome to a special first streamed edition of the Bronzecast. I'm going to be your host Trombone, and we're going to be digging into the deep world that is League of Legends. So there's a lot of things happening, most of them in the LCS, and I want to cover a lot of them. There's a lot of things that are just speculation, there's a lot of things that are confirmed by ESPN, things that are speculated on by ESPN, which, in my experience, looking at articles, besides like .esports, seems to be one of the most reputable like esports sources of information. So it's something I really look up to. It's something I would like to recommend you to if you're looking for anything that you'd like. I know I rip on ESPN a lot for not really knowing, but finding out that they have a lot of freelance writers and that know what they're writing about is super refreshing for me, I guess. It's really nice. So something I want to dive into and talk about. First big one is Team Liquid's roster is looking amazing. So basically what they did is they took the Immortals roster minus Flame and they moved it and they bought it. They bought it all. So we're looking at like a Pope Elter mid. We're looking at a Smithy in the jungle. We're looking at who's in the top? I don't know who's in the top lane, but they also have like Rainover on standby. They still have Dardoch, which I still disagree with. I don't think you can run a well-oiled org with Dardoch on it. However, it's their choice. I mean, they have Rainover and Smithy. What really more do they need? Not a whole lot. Anyway, and I think the most interesting thing to me is got to be their bot lane. They have got Doublelift and Ole. Doublelift, a very consistent ADC who's always really been on point, and he's going to be down there with Ole. Debatably should have been the MVP of last season. He came real close. No one would fault you for thinking that Ole was a very high performing support last year, because he was. So that's fantastic. Those are all things that are pretty well confirmed for us, things that we know. Things that are a little bit more speculative. There's a couple more things that we know. One more, we know that Flame, that wonderful top laner that he is of Immortals, is with FlyQuest now, which is really nice. Hai is reported to be on free agency. However, I think what FlyQuest really missed or needed was someone that was really solid in any lane, really. Where these playmakers and these shot callers could really act and someone would follow through. Not everyone wanted to be the playmaker. They were all on the spot. They were really aggressive, which worked for them because it caught the LCS off guard. However, as the LCS learned and evolved to it, it was really just not fantastic. So I think something that we can take out of that is that FlyQuest roster is already looking a lot better. Now get rid of Wild Turtle and it'll be perfect. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why I throw so much shade at him. He's not that bad, but he kind of has a tendency to choke in the playoffs, and FlyQuest is a team or an org that I respect. So, I want to see them go somewhere. Anyway, there's a lot more. 100 Thieves, which I believe is the Cleveland Cavaliers team org setup, is working on a deal for someday. Again, speculative. We're moving into that. And Arrow is signed a contract with Optic Gaming. Arrow is probably, if I was Optic Gaming, I was getting to the league, I wanted to make an impact and a note on things. I think Arrow is kind of underwhelming. I want to make an impact. I want to be showy. I have some basketball money. Actually, no, Optic does not have basketball money. I'm sure they have some floating around because it's freaking everywhere. But they're not directly backed by a basketball team, which is probably why their first step into the LCS is just a little underwhelming. Arrow is by no means a garbage ADC. However, he's decent. He's good. He's not great. There's a little bit lacking. Spring Split, he kind of popped off. He was doing really well. Summer Split, he slumped hard. He just wasn't performing at the level that he was or that people expected of him. And I don't know if that got him down in another respect, but it was just kind of really disappointing to see. It's just what it is. So seeing, one of the new orgs coming in, having no roster, and the first player that you see them sign being Arrow is just kind of disappointing. Someday on 100 Thieves, kind of the same thing, but it's a little splashier. It's a little more, it brings attention. People want to know where Someday goes. People want to know where Flame is going. People want to know where Double F's going. And apparently Afromu is on free agency. People want to know where he's going. It wouldn't surprise me one bit to see him go to one of the basketball teams because he is just very good. He's got tradition, he's got name recognition. It's kind of someone you want on your org. I don't think it's going to be a huge loss to CLG because between you and me, I love Afro. He seems like a really great person, really great personality to have on CLG. However, his performance does seem to be going in a downward trend. Again, he's not bad. He's barely not great at this point, and I can't see him not ever coming back or coming back in even a little bit. But just one of those things where he is losing a bit of his flashiness and a little bit of what he has to offer in terms of just sheer mechanics in the support role. He still offers a giant guiding voice. There's a lot of things that come with being a veteran, especially when you've been on as long as Afromu. And again, his mechanics aren't super under. I'm not flaming him. I'm not being like, oh my god, Afro's garbage. That's not what I'm saying. He just doesn't have a little bit of what he used to. 2 years ago, this year, he seemed to be in a really, really heavy slump. So it's kind of sad. But I don't think he can't come back. I think he will come back and show a little bit more of what he has to offer. So that's kind of what's going on in the world of things. Oh, that's a lie, because everything is changing so quickly, and I wanted to kind of make things as they solidify, but there's so much to talk about. There's so much to weigh in on and turn the camera on and just talk about. Another thing, apparently, Meteos, Ryu, and Someday have just been confirmed for 100 Thieves. Again, Cleveland Cavaliers organization. Meteos, I'm really actually kind of disappointed in. He made it known that he did not want to play. That was a publicly known thing, that he just didn't want to play last season. Apparently, money is a very enticing factor for Meteos. Even when he did play, he was pretty middle of the pack jungler. I mean, granted, there's only 10 teams, so like 5 out of 10, that's not terrible. Like, especially when you're talking about some of the best players in the world. However, I don't think that's the right move for 100 Thieves. I think that's, again, just a really interesting move to make when you're just getting into the league. Meteos does have name recognition, however, he's starting to get some name recognition for the wrong reasons, and it's just kind of a move that you don't want to see right away. Ryu and Someday, boom, right on the money, pretty decent. Like, again, name recognition. Someday kind of blew it up. He had a fantastic season last season. Not something that I'm disappointed to see. But it is what it is. Again, super exciting to see, but there's still some wiggle room there. Apparently, Liquid has just been buying up contracts like crazy as well, and they just have like this giant hold on player contracts. As a business move, pretty good. However, even Steve is like, this could get a little shady if it was in the wrong hands, and I just kind of want to do my own thing. So that's what's going on in the NALCS. Again, really disappointed on Riot's release of the 10 teams that are going to be in the NALCS. Super disappointed. Didn't recognize the teams that were a part of it at all. It didn't even say like, hey, thanks for being here. Like, one of those teams was Dignitas, who was there from damn near the beginning, if not the beginning. So it's really disappointing to even note that they were there. Anyway, I made an entire video on that. I thanked all 4 teams on my own behalf because Riot would not. Check it out if that's something you want to see. However, that was just kind of more of a rant thing for me. That I'm really disappointed in. However, Riot has done some pretty cool things lately. They released Zoe, who is honestly one of the most interesting characters I've played in a long time. she's not as overpowered or great as like a lot of people think she is. She is very mana efficient, just on like, because she has a 2 spell combo, really. I mean, she can make it a 3 spell combo, but a lot of her damage and a lot of what she wants to do is out of her Q alone. And that, rather than constantly comboing, saves you a lot of mana. She feels really comfortable because of that. She also has a lot of mobility, but it's not fantastic. You know, she's not like zipping around the map, unable to catch. I know that's kind of how Riot perceived everything, and she can, to an extent, be played that way. If you get good enough at her, but she's not even as fantastic as I think the video that they put out, even in the right hands. But even in average hands especially, not doing anything like that. So, is what it is. However, Zoe is a really comfortable champ. I feel like one that's a lot easier to pick up and play than you would expect from what Riot's put out so far. She is very mechanically intensive. She's someone that's going to be really difficult to master. However, I think something that she's going to be able to do at least decently well is pick up and play. You can use your Q at a very basic level. Again, that's where a lot of it comes on. If someone hops on you, you put them to sleep. Real easy to pick up. Not the most to, you know, just master. And just this patch in general. The new project skins, cool as crap. The new game mode, also cool. I'm just very impressed. And yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of things going on in the LCS that I wanted to talk about. More shitty people in solo queue and just in general in bronze. I think you've heard most of the rants I have. I don't have anything unique to rant about this time. So I think that's just all I really wanted to talk about. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you did this time, feel free to hit the like button if you liked it, and sub if you like what I got going on in general. Thank you so much for joining me, and until the next video / Bronzecast, again, Twitch exclusive. Boom, first. Have a good one.